Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. The Prime Minister's questions doesn't go the way that it needs to go, and I'm calling it out on this video. Now, to many people in the political know, who are clued in on politics, we know it's performative, we know it's theatre, and we know it's pantomime. Nothing really substantive gets done in PMQs. But it is for visibility. Many people that don't watch politics in general do watch Prime Minister's questions. So it's important for the Prime Minister to actually give answers when they are asked of him. And the current Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, doesn't do that. Now, with Prime Minister's questions this week, Farage asked a question. As per usual, they didn't give an answer, and the Reform MPs eventually left the chamber. You could argue, again, this is theatrics, this is theatre, but the Prime Minister should be answering these questions to anyone, and especially to somebody like Farage, who's got a high profile. You should be doing things like this, Prime Minister, and that's what I'm calling out on this video. So I'm going to play the clips, and then we'll discuss it in a bit more detail.
Smash the gangs! That is what the Prime Minister promised us. Trust me, I will stop the boats from coming, but 70,000 later, and 1,000 in the last week, and too many young men that pose a threat to national security. Is it not time to admit Smash the Gangs has been a total abject failure, along, frankly, with most of his other policies? Isn't it now time, he told us, as summer approaches, what is Plan B?
That's a pretty reasonable question. There's a lot of people in the country that'll be asking the same question. The Prime Minister should just answer, but let's see what the response is.
Well, Mr. Speaker, this is from the man of the party that voted against giving law enforcement counter-terrorism style powers to tackle them. So he wants the grievance, he doesn't want it sorted. And he has absolutely no judgment. He again said, let's join the war, let's all go to war. I want to make it perfectly clear he wants the war. A week later, screeching U-turn, we don't want to go to war. And he says, trust his judgment. Mr. Speaker, it's hard to take anything he says seriously. He promised lower tax, and now Reform councils are hiking council tax by 9%. In Worcestershire, this is what he said about Worcestershire. He said, we took control of a virtually bankrupt council. I wish we hadn't bothered. He asked for people's votes, and then he abandons them. Reform don't want to solve problems, they only want to exploit them. I am thankful for the opportunity to change this country for the better. He says he wish he hadn't bothered winning councils, because they're an absolute disgrace.
Most of that answer was nothing to do with what Farage asked. He asked, what's Plan B since Plan A is not working? All Starmer responded with is, well, you voted against our policy, and then moved on to attacking reform, attacking reform, attacking reform. Where's the actual substance in what Farage wanted a reply to? There was none. There was none. Now, the Father of the House actually asked the Speaker later that day why he didn't intervene to demand that the Prime Minister answers the questions properly. So we're going to look at this now.
Can I refer you to paragraph 22.9 of Erskine May, which stresses the primary importance of ministerial responsibility. Now, we've got to admit that Prime Ministers have always tried to dodge questions at Prime Minister's question time, and you're not responsible for the answers they give. But what we have seen in recent weeks is not just dodging questions, but every question asked to the Prime Minister, he refers to the Leader of the Opposition's policies. This is not Leader of the Opposition policies, it's Prime Minister's policies. And the whole...
Can I just say once again, I said last week, I have not responsibility or the authority for the answers. What I would say is, it's incumbent of ministers to try and ensure there is an answer. But it is not for me to judge whether the answer is correct or not. You will be politicising the church. If that's what the House wishes to do, by all means do so. But I have not got the power. Once again, I reiterate what I said last week.
The Speaker is impartial. This particular Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, is from the Labour benches. That's the answer he's got. You cannot compel the Prime Minister to give a better answer, essentially. You can. You can. Okay? There were cases when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister that when you done exactly that. The quality of the answer, you can actually demand a better quality of answer or tell the Prime Minister to answer the question properly. You can do that, you do have that authority. So we're going to play this clip now of him doing this with Boris Johnson a few years ago.
Both sides, which is true. Prime Minister, there are questions, and sometimes we've got to try and answer the question to what was asked of you. The Prime Minister, Ofsted, was not the question. I'm not interested in what they put on the agenda. I'm more interested in you answering the question. Yes, just a moment. We'll have a little less shouting from the side. Just to remind the Prime Minister, it's Prime Minister's questions. It isn't about the agenda of last general election. Keir Starmer.
So we'll leave this here. If Nigel Farage wants better answers to the questions he's posing and he's not getting them in Prime Minister's questions, I agree. The quality of answer at PMQs is really abysmal. It needs to be a lot better. That is clear. But if that's not going to change, you can go to select committees, you can submit written questions to ministers and get the information that way. The issue I've got with Farage here is he's being very performative. He's doing high publicity stunts for the media rounds, which you can argue is a smart political move. But if you want answers and you want specific detail on things that are going wrong, there are ways to do it that are not in the public sphere, they're not very visible. Like Rupert Lowe has done previously, going into select committees and submitting written questions, 2 ministers, you can do it that way and you may achieve the same outcome. The Speaker's a disgrace. I don't think is acting impartially at all, in my particular view. Now, do you agree with me that even though PMQs is performative, the Prime Minister should be stepping up his game? This isn't attack reform questions, this isn't attack the opposition questions, this is Prime Minister's questions. He needs to be accountable for the policies that he's making. Many hundreds of migrants are crossing the Channel each week into the United Kingdom. And if the policy that the Prime Minister has is failing, what's Plan B? That's pretty straightforward answer that should be given to that. What is the Plan B? Is there a Plan B? Farage is correct asking the question. I just question the motives. Now you let me know. Do you think the Speaker's impartial? Do you think Farage is in the right here? Do you think I'm being fair? Like, comment, subscribe, do all of these things, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day and thank you for watching as always.